Hello, everybody. Welcome to our
Hello.
welcome to our first episode of Way Out of Childhood Trauma. I am the Barb Smith Varclova from Trauma Responsive Programming, and it's been here with me is the Lela.
Hi,
Hi.
Barb. Thank you
So-
for inviting me.
So Lela, tell me about you a little to our listeners.
Yes, I'm a rapid transformational hypnotherapist, and I'm interested in working with childhood trauma. And my dear friend Barb has invited me tonight to share my thoughts about this very, very significant topic in our life today.
Yeah, Lela, it's really a really important topic to speak about, because it's affecting so many people, more people than probably people imagine, because just UK research from 2021 shows that about 31% of the young people was affected with the childhood trauma. And we don't speak about population, which is now adults over 30, over 40. We don't have even statistics how many of them was affected by childhood trauma, but also current research in US speaking about 35 millions of children be affected by traumatic events in their childhood. So that is like enormous numbers of people we speaking who are affected with that. So it's really important topic to speak about. So Lela, can you tell our listeners how it's really affecting the childhood trauma, like development of children? What is really meaning for mental and physical health of people?
Yes, childhood trauma can significantly increase the risks of developing mental health disorders later in life. Childhood trauma can increase the risks of developing pathologies like psychosis, obsessive compulsive disorder, bipolar disorder, post-traumatic stress disorder, and also developing anxiety and depression in adolescence. Because childhood trauma is caused by different types of abuse, like emotional abuse, mental abuse, physical abuse, sexual abuse, and of course, neglect, emotional neglect or physical neglect. There are also many other types of causing traumas to children. Suffering psychological trauma during childhood significantly increases the risk of developing mental pathologies later in life. Suffering emotional abuse and emotional trauma is contributing to the development of anxiety and depression in adolescents. One study analyzed 93,000 cases, revealing a direct link between suffering psychological abuse at the pediatric age and developing mental pathology later in life. And why is this happening? Because there are structural and functional changes in the brain caused by trauma. There are physical changes even where there is no physical injury to the brain. And this is why the brains of the people who suffered from childhood trauma are rewired differently. So the brain has this ability to rewire itself in order to survive, because our brains have amazing strategy to survive in traumatic situations, because our reptilian brain is activated and we are disattached from our emotions. So we are in the survival mode.
Yeah, no, that's very interesting, is it? Because many people don't even recognize like how all these events from the childhood affecting the children. especially when it's the repetitive events. It can cause what is now called complex post-traumatic disorders, which have the wide range, which kind of all symptoms of anxiety, depression, insomnia, tiredness, anger outbursts, like all these range of symptoms which people often don't know what's always happening, and in the end they finding that it's complex PTSD, is it? And it's really interesting in that often people just expecting that it's from this. Of course, it's causes this main reasons like physical abuse, sexual abuse, but often what is not really often recognized is that mental abuse, is it? Like when parents are just too cold, too strict, is it? You told me about a very interesting study about that. Can you share it with our listeners?
Yes. It is very interesting how beating the children and the corporal punishment, which is intentional behavior from the parents, and this behavior parents use to discipline their kids. But there was one study conducted on 149 boys and girls at the age between 11 and 14. And participants performed a video game while undergoing continuously recorded EEG, non-invasive technique to measure brainwave activity from the scalp. And from EEG data, the researchers determined 2 scores for each participant. So one was reflecting neural response to error, and the other one was referring neural response to reward. So the kids who have received punishments like beating from their parents and violent physical abuse have developed neural sensitivity, increased neural sensitivity to punishment, mistakes, and errors, and decrease neural sensitivity to reward and positive events in their life. And this also contributes to developing conditions like anxiety and depression in adolescence. So when someone experiences this form of abuse and violence from their home, this includes a component, an element of emotional abuse, because this comes from our parents or people who are caregivers. And kids are very, very deeply affected. So in the next stage of life, when they become adolescents and adults, they have 3 times more chances to develop conditions like anxiety and depression.
Oh, that's really sad, is it? Because just growing up the adults, which going to the life with the big struggles and often finding themselves that they don't know how to cope with the life. They can try to be people pleasers on the one, like which we calling phone response, and they try to just do everything what other wants them, and they really suffer with that because they don't feel realizing their potential in their life. They don't do what they like. They don't using their capabilities to feel achieved in their life, and it's often causing an issue with workplace and getting the job and keeping the job, because often they ending in burnout, become workaholics, is it, or cannot sleep. And in many other areas, they just trying numb this pain from that permanent punishment and using drugs and alcohol to numb that inner pain, and then we dealing with dependencies, with on behavior which is not they want really, and my clients often coming me with that feeling like I just cannot control my reaction. They become so conditioned to these reactions, like when we training the dog, is it like, and we know that even children are more sensitive than animals to all this treatment, and often we see people treat some children, we would say, no, we would not treat a dog like that, it's so hard and so love withdrawing thing. And that's the part when often people not realizing that it's not always trauma. It's not always caused just this severe, visible abuse, which most people in society currently understand that it's unacceptable, but also with withdrawal of the love, withdrawal of attention, that cold parents, distant parents, not present parent, and that's creating in the children that feeling that they are not good enough, that they are not belonging anywhere, that they don't almost have the right to exist, is it? So what do you have your experience with your clients in this area?
Yes. Well, I have experienced very, very interesting stories from my clients when they refer to their childhood abuse. Sometimes childhood abuse includes physical, emotional, and mental abuse, which is too hard to bear for the children. And I had some clients who were thinking about suicide at the age of 9 or 11, which is really, really defeating, very disturbing, because the only thing that they wanted is to stop feeling the pain. They didn't want to stop living. They wanted to be happy children. But unfortunately, they didn't know the way out of trauma. And they have developed certain beliefs and behaviors because they were learning as growing how to distinguish between what is safe and what is not safe. So they probably, and in the most cases, they do believe that they're invisible, they're not important, they're not good enough, they're not worthy. And the feelings that they carry on throughout their childhood and adulthood is, I'm angry, I'm sad, I'm feeling powerless, I'm feeling very, very small. And we can help them with rapid transformational therapy to reframe those beliefs and to release all negative, limiting all beliefs, and to transform into positive, empowering ones. And also we can help them release the old feelings of anger, the sadness, powerlessness, the feelings of resentment. We can do so much for them with this powerful technique. And it's very, very effective when people are ready to transform and when they want to participate, because we only do 60% of our job at the therapy, but they do have to listen to our amazing audio recordings. That is 40% of their success, right, Barb?
Yeah, what I find that most of people like to listen to hypnotic recordings. This is like guided meditation. People feel relaxed, people like it. Often my clients listening before going to the bed, and they just like to sleep in that, is it? Because it make them feel very calm and confident. And I think that it's very important to speak about this, so people understand that there is the way, that there is the way out of childhood trauma. Is why we name this talk Way Out of Childhood Trauma, because we want to speak about different responses: trauma creating, which is the fawn response, froze, fight or run, and how we can deal with them, how people can help them to some level, how they can recognize in their lives when which response it's coming, so they can realize that their body or their mind reacting in that way. Because it's what I found very interesting. Many people actually recognizing that they suffer with responses to childhood trauma quite late in their life, in their 30s, even 40s, when they actually really start thinking about why it's keep happening, why my relationship doesn't work, why I'm struggling in the work, why I'm so ill, why I'm tired, I'm trying so much. Often there is like this feeling of self-sabotage, or just feelings of uncontrollable anger, uncontrollable sadness, and many of these things. And when they realize that it's actually a result of the childhood trauma, they can start this way, the journey on recovery. And it's really important to say that it is possible, because many clients coming to me with the words, nothing worked. I tried everything and nothing worked. But as you're saying, the RTT and especially in combination in CBT and some symptomatic work, is a really powerful. RTT working almost like magic for it. Don't want to use that word, but it really is that people can really very quickly respond to therapy, and many people we know would say it's not possible. It's only way to manage the symptoms, learn to live with that, and just go on with life to some level as much as possible. But what we want to speak in these talks is how it's possible to really change it. So we will speak about different trauma responses. We will want to speak about different unhealthy coping mechanisms for trauma, which can signalize the need for the therapy, as it drug misuse or alcohol abuse or eating disorders, also some specific autoimmune diseases or mental illnesses, which we know now that they are not unreversible. We know that they can be healed, they can be reversed, and we all have very good successes with RTT in that area. So it's really important to understand that trauma, it's a huge topic to speak about, but also that there is the way. And so it's what we want to really encourage everybody who listen to our podcast, come for the next episode. We will speak in the next episode what is our stories about why we start to treating with trauma, that we are not different from you. We came through this journey, so we went through, you went through, and also leave the messages in the leave us message or contact us on the Facebook on or Instagram, and we would be happy to answer any questions. So Lela, what do you feel that is the most important things for you? Why you are so passionate about speaking about childhood trauma?
Well, I'm so passionate about speaking of childhood trauma because it has affected my life in many ways. It has affected me for years and decades, because when we experience trauma, we experience it through sensory input, through what we see. If we see something horrible, if we hear something insulting and hurtful, and for example, if we experience the smell of alcohol, and then in some moments in life, years later, we're triggered, right? We're triggered by certain smells, by certain images and words. And this is how we're not aware of how to respond and why we respond in a certain ways. And I had the need to discover why I suffer autoimmune illness, and why I cannot find the medicine from the official medicine, why it cannot help me. So I was searching for the answers deeply in my soul. I was very, very interested in psychology, and I'm so happy that I discovered rapid transformational therapy, because it has helped me with so many different issues, not only with health issues. As you mentioned, Barb, childhood traumas can be the cause of many conditions, many pathologies and mental disorders. And sometimes when we discover the cause of one problem, we can resolve two problems, right?
Yeah.
Which is great.
Yeah, it's amazing, because it's another topic we will want to speak later about, is that link on not so much speak about yet about the link between our mental health and our physical health, but there is definitely link. Our body is commanded by our mind, and so if our mind is not working right, our body doesn't work right. And we will speak about many researches in this behind about quantum healing and other resources, and it's a one part which we also do in rapid transformational therapy, that we actually are able to reach to that level of the mind and help to recover the body. So it helped me, it helped so many of my clients. And so just like little teaser, like, are you having migraines? Are you having headaches? Or are you struggling to sleep? You know, that's are the things which are almost, I would say, so easily to resolve it with RTT, but they are really, and people are surprised how quickly they can be resolved. Even they have them for decades, and everybody told them that it's nothing working. Yeah, so my reason was kind of similar. I will speak about it in detail next time, but yeah, we all finding our way, and we want to encourage everybody to have the hope that the way out existing, that it's not forever, that it doesn't mean that we have to live with that for the rest of our lives and just trying to survive. We can be survivors, which is mean that we are out of it. We are out of it. We are not suffer anymore.
Yes, I absolutely agree with you. I love those encouraging now, and the message that we're sending, that we can save ourselves. Yes.
Yeah. So it will be all from us for today. We hope that you enjoy our little talk about start of the way of the childhood trauma, and we hope to see you or listen to us next week. And you can contact us on the Facebook on the trauma response reprogramming or mind freedom therapy, and or you can find us on the Instagram, and leave us message if you like our talk, what you would like to speak about, or if you have any question, we will be very happy to answer the questions of listeners in some future episodes. So
yeah.
See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.